Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Shonen and Chill, hosted by Zenrotto and Oceans. I
Hello.
always talk over your hello, so I waited that time.
Aw, thank you.
The past few times, I've just talked right over you. Um,
That that's okay. I've been told my voice is very penetrant, and you can hear it through like other noises. So I hope that has been the case for the past few weeks as well, and people have not just missed out on me because obviously me saying hello is the most important part.
well, yeah, that sets the
Clearly.
whole that's the whole mood for the rest of the show. If you don't get it, then you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I see.
So before we
Uh,
jump into top threes, a little bit of news: Build King is officially over.
yes, Build
Um,
King.
but it got a little. I guess they're letting them, or they're letting him finish it in the Volume One release,
hmm
which is I've never seen that before, but I'm sure it's happened before.
Oh, it actually happened just recently with Phantom Seer.
Really,
As
the
in,
Phantom Seer? I thought Phantom Seer just said the end. I didn't think it said like,
it's
oh, you can.
it said the end, but with Phantom Seer, the volume release is gonna have like an additional epilogue chapter that's gonna fill out blanks and also have like more stuff on the sister Yayoi.
Oh,
Uh,
19 pages. Yeah, I'm sure that'll fix it.
well, I don't know if the chapter is regular size because like you're not limited by the magazine, so it's like, oh yeah, so here's like the epilogue chapter. It's like 5,000 pages.
Here's
Bring
the epilogue chapter. It's the rest of my series.
Here's the epilogue chapter. It's twice the length of One Piece. Buckle
2,000
up.
chapters, all the lore in one place.
It's like One Punch Man that has like one chapter comes out and it's like 300 pages or some dumb shit like that. Oh, I do not envy people who try to follow One Punch Man because that seems like such a mess of a release.
Yeah, it drops every like I guess month, and I'm just like, oh, it's One Punch Man, and then I just look at the pretty pictures, and I'm like, okay, going
Yeah,
back
because
to it.
like also Murata like redraws previous chapters in like bunches and then he drops them as their own chapters. It's weird. Like I've had people try and explain it to me. I still don't get it, how exactly like you're supposed to follow this. But you know, I suppose that's a step in the right direction. One Punch Man truly is approaching Western comics level of where the fuck do I even read this?
So it's medium appropriate then if we want to get into the West, is what you're saying.
Pretty much. But okay, are there any other news or do we jump into the
Just
regular
the
show?
news series, the Blue Box, which I believe is like a romance series, but also a sports series. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I always said Kuroko didn't have enough of was just teen romance. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure it'll go great. Um, I did not read it this week, full disclosure, but
Mm-hmm. Me neither.
I will probably talk about it in the post show. It's because I'll read the shit that I didn't read yet. Is it too early to
Mm-hmm.
say shit? 3 minutes? Probably not. We're fine. We're fine.
Uh, yeah, I mean, I don't know. YouTube recently like restructured how they assess these things, so maybe, but we'll see.
That'll be fine. It'll
Yeah,
be
yeah,
fine.
it'll be fine.
So
YouTube, we
now we
love
can
you.
go ahead and we can hop into top threes. What do you got?
Number one, I got My Hero Academia. Number two, I got Jujutsu Kaisen, and number three, I got MASHLE. What a surprise!
All right. So for me, number three was My Hero Academia. Number two
Oh,
was Jujutsu Kaisen. Number one was Doctor Stone.
oh, okay, okay.
I'll spare you Doctor Stone. I'll keep that for the after show. But God damn, it's really good.
Okay. Okay. I need to catch up one of these
You need to
days.
catch up. Oh my God, dude, it's so good. It's been
Uh,
killing it for weeks now. It's so good.
from what I hear, it's been literally killing it. It being
Literally,
the
yes. Like it being all of it, everything.
cat. Okay, well, man, like I've been having so much trouble regularly reading manga lately, just because like moving and everything has been super busy. Like, hot damn, there's no like I just completely flunked on our bet regarding Bleach and Attack on Titan.
Well, let's not get into Attack on Titan.
Oh no. You? Oh yeah, of course. You must have seen.
Yeah, I don't really understand it because I haven't read it, but I've seen the discourse and it's just
Uh,
endless.
yeah, I'm just gonna put it out there. The ending is good. Everyone's just being pissy about it.
Ratings for the show plummeting as we speak right now.
No, it's like in my head, I've kind of accepted it's very much like part five's ending of JoJo, where it's like it's appropriate and it's good if you like, you're super into the series at the time of it and you're into that specific part of its message. But if someone just explains it to you without like any of the investment, it sounds dumb as fuck. Like the ending of part five, oh, he just develops the ability to win instantly and the plot is over. Like if someone explains it to you like that, you're also like, oh yeah, the ending sucks. And Attack on Titan's very similar. It's like if someone just explains the bare bones outline of it, you're like, damn, that shit stinks. But then you read it and it's a nice ending. Like I liked it. I genuinely did like it. I know it's a controversial opinion, but
Yeah, I mean, you got people on Twitter like, yeah, I haven't eaten in 4 days since I read this, and
yeah, but that's
I've
that's a
gone to a
problem
therapist
deeper.
now because the ending was so bad. It's like, damn.
No, Attack on Titan is actually interesting in that regard because it's like there you also get into like fandom expectations where they like completely constructed certain things that they wanted the ending to do that was never going to do afterwards anyway. Like I swear to God, half the people just invented their own version of the main character in their head. And then when the final chapter did not follow that invented version, they're like, "Oh, that's character assassination." Like, no, you've been just deluding yourself for a year. Like, that's on you. But yeah, let's not get into that because I'll be here for an hour
All right.
because it's super interesting.
All right, deal. So we'll jump into the biggest losers of the week. Did you read My Hero Academia Vigilantes?
I did.
I did too. It was okay.
Uh,
I thought it was fine.
yeah, I actually really liked it. This was probably one of my more favorite Vigilantes chapters, just because like six, like just laying out his plan is done in such a fun way with him like talking to this imaginary version of O'Clock. Like it's cool. It's like a fun back and forth, and I like how that kind of it's kind of similar to how in the main manga now Shigaraki has like mental talks with All for One, and it's almost like the quirk is like deteriorating your brain. So I like that that's brought in here with a more like lighthearted note. So yeah, like I had fun with this chapter. It was very much just a oh here's what's happening, but it was a fun way of telling us what's happening.
Yeah,
Also,
and
I
and
like
it's a
that.
neat little
Uh,
plan. You're just like, we're just trying to fuck some shit up.
yeah,
And
I like that the first phase of his plan is literally just make people feel uneasy because that's how you get into like real chaos. I'm like, you know what, Vigilantes, that's cool. That is cool. I'm on board. But you were saying? I think I
uh,
cut you off there.
no, not really. I don't have too much to say about that. I like the All Might won't come out over at Unseen. What are you trying to say? Trying to say All Might's a glory hound? He won't come out if there's no video cameras.
It's basically like if no one's filming this for Instagram, All Might's just a no show.
All Might's like, yeah, no, I can't. I can't get Reddit karma off this crime. I'm not coming out.
Young Midoriya, do you know the most essential resource to heroing? Is it justice? Is it freedom? No, it's Reddit gold. Oh, Might's just a Redditor now. Great, that's canon.
How do you think he pays for all those fucking suit upgrades? To this Reddit gold.
I still don't get what the fuck Reddit gold is. It's like someone pays you and puts like a gold thing on your post. Is that it?
I think so. I think it puts a gold thing on your post, and then I think Reddit has like a subscriber mode for some reason, and I think it subscribes you to their subscriber mode. I guess it's like giving a
Ah,
month of YouTube Premium or something, but I don't know what would Reddit Premium be. It's just a text page.
no, you see, it's like OnlyFans, except you don't pay for nudes. You pay for the most recent hot take about how women deserve less.
Davi is all
Oh.
about it.
Dobby is definitely a Redditor.
Davi is down with Reddit, big time.
Do- Dobby gets along real well with All for One too, because he's like he got put on Parlor with him.
They both got banned on Twitter for tweeting about killing Endeavor. And so they were like, this is censorship of my freedom of speech. I'm going to Parlor.
Yeah. But yeah, so we just immediately jumped into this. So I think
Yeah.
Vigilantes really didn't have much meat.
Yeah,
It was a good
Vigilantes didn't have a
chapter.
ton to go on. But it was
Yeah.
fine. It's an interesting setup. Hopefully this fight is pretty cool. It's setting up to be pretty cool.
Yeah, and also next chapter is chapter 100, and apparently we're having a announcement to go with it. Uh, and I'm gonna just put my hat into the ring. I think it's either an anime adaptation or it's like an announcement that it'll cross over with the main manga. Both of which I see as pretty likely at this point. Um, I don't know which one I'd prefer because, like, I mean, an anime for Vigilantes, that'd be kind of cool to get like more people into it, but at the same time, Vigilantes kind of smells for most of its run. So like you. Uh and as for crossover, like, I don't know. If Koichi appears in the main series, I'm not gonna be like upset. It's gonna be like interesting, I guess. But it's not like something I'm fiending for, you know?
That's fair. They're
Yeah.
gonna cross over, and you're gonna find out that when Deku was watching those videos of All Might, it was actually the All Might hoodie that Koichi was wearing,
Oh,
and his
oh,
entire
of course.
backstory is gonna be to have been emulating Koichi, not All Might.
Koichi was Koichi was the Nomu that they used at USJ. The Vigilantes just ends with Koichi getting no mood. That'd be actually harrowing as fuck.
Yeah, that would actually be pretty brutal.
Yeah, well, you know, the manga has been like same shit like, oh, this was the crawlers last summer and shit like that. And so far I've only thought, oh, you know, he's just gonna be a normal ubu boy at the end of this. Like, no way they're doing anything tragic. But I mean, hey, if they're gonna turn him into a Nomu, you know, that could be cool, I guess. Like, I'm not, the thing with Vigilantes is I'm so not invested in it that I can't even like try to spin it in my head as like whether or not it'd be good or not. Like, it'd be interesting,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. I mean, I'd probably have the same reaction I have to every Vigilantes chapter, which is like, okay. So let me get
Yeah,
to
I mean,
the other stuff that I'm reading instead.
yeah, I mean, honestly, my reactions to the Vigilantes chapter so far for the last couple of months have just been, thank God we're out of the flashback. That's it. Because, God, that flashback felt completely pointless. Like, especially now that
Yeah,
this is
that
the
kind of
final
was
fight.
just like, hey, how do we get Mirko into this? Because everybody thinks she's a real cutie pie.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, and I will get hate for this. I'm getting tired of Mirko. I'm getting
Uh-oh.
so
Uh-oh.
fucking
First
tired
the
of
Attack
her.
on Titan thing, and now this. We've only been on for 13 minutes.
But dude, like, Hori's editor draws nothing but Mirko on Twitter. So every day I have like a new Mirko sketch on my timeline, you know, sanctioned by the official canon. And I'm like, man, bunny girls are not that hot.
Yeah,
I've
not
done it.
really.
I've done it. I've done it. The show just plummets.
All the
Shonen show.
goodwill we've built up with the community is gone.
You know who deserves that sort of hype that Mirko's getting? Fuyumi Todoroki. Now that is a babe.
Okay, that's fair. I'll co-sign that. Just doing the
Dude,
sweater thing.
dude, the turtlenecks, the glasses. Come on. Who wants to fucking bunny over that? Like, the thing with Mirko also is like, because I think of this in like a logistical perspective. It's like, you know, you ask Mirko out to have like dinner or whatever, and she just fucking blasts off halfway through the date because she's like, oh, I have to go save someone, and haha, I'm Mirko, I'm really like unhinged and shit. You can't build anything off of that. But you know, a fucking high school teacher like Fuyumi, who's like taking care of a broken household, she's dependable, she's responsible. Fuyumi Todoroki deserves more fan art, and she
I don't
deserves
know,
more
man.
love.
I don't know if it's a positive that she's struggling to keep together a broken home.
No, not that she's struggling to, but she's like trying, and that shows that she's a good person.
No, I just mean that your reasoning was like, yeah, she's from a shitty background, so you know that
No,
she's.
no, no, that's not what I mean. That is not. Fuck. That
Yeah,
is
she's
not
got
what I
daddy
mean.
issues, so you know she's great.
Oh no, that's not what I mean. That is that. No, I meant it as a reflection on her character. Because like Mirko would have just fucking beaten the crap out of everyone in the Todoroki household, and like that would be raw as fuck, but that wouldn't solve anything. Like Toya and Shoto would still be traumatized. They just have broken bones. Like that doesn't solve anything.
To be fair, they have Fuyumi and they're still traumatized.
Fuck, you got me there. I guess the Fuyumi stocks are plummeting after all.
Stocks are at all-time low. It's the Fuyumi market crash.
I mean, I would put forth Nana Shimura, but she abandoned her family and also potentially shagged Gran Torino.
Yeah, I think once you get with Gran Torino, there's no going back.
I mean, technically that isn't canon yet. I am so convinced that is actually what went down, because I've said it before. It just seems like the obvious conclusion, especially considering how Gran Torino's quote unquote death worked out, where he's like, "Oh no, we made the wrong choice." Like,
yeah. But they also like try to retroactively be like, okay, Gran Torino was hot at one point, and I'm like, no, you're doing that to try to justify your girl character plowing this Oompa Loompa old man. And it's just not, no. No.
I saw someone say when around when those chapters were coming out, like Gran Torino was really tall and like normally proportioned, and then he got with Nana, who's like buff as shit, and then whatever happened left Gran Torino really small and really crippled.
Just sucked the life out of him.
Spine compression. This episode is off to a very horny start.
Yes, it is. This is probably our horniest episode.
Well, I don't even know why. We just got onto Mirko and jumped onto Fuyumi, and now we're on Nana. But you know, Hori do be knowing how to draw his women.
He does.
Yeah, like I also like aside from like just you know, the ooga booga appeal, I do really appreciate that he draws like buff women. Like it's just something that you don't see as overtly in a lot of battle shonen manga, which you know you have the female fighters, but they're always still very like lanky and petite.
Like stick thin, but they're punching you through walls and shit.
Yeah. Whereas not like Nana's biceps are phenomenal, and you know Mirko's thigh muscles, like you know completely if we completely separate it from just the you know ooga booga sentiment. Like,
I like how you had to say that twice, because you said, "Wow, this episode's really horny," and then you said, "You know what's really great? Mirko's thighs."
Look, man. They are though. And okay, another thing, like Mirko's costume, while it is like obviously look how sexy she is, I like how it's like utility wise it kind of makes sense, because she's like a martial artist, and all of her joint areas are basically like limited fabric, whereas like for example she has no cleavage at all, where I'm like, okay, you know what, that's like a way to have a sexy character on screen that doesn't feel distasteful. Like, for example, the way it does with someone like Momo, where it's like, can we move on from her shitty costume already?
Yeah, God, her costume sucks. Like, why even?
It sucks, and it's also like, you know, it does not feel like something that needed to be there.
Yeah, because like she could just have like a crop top, just like a belly open top, not like this weird like those weird nipple suspenders. It's like all she has.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, I'm not saying Hori is a weird shithead for doing that. I definitely think though that was a bad move. But if I had to like try and put myself into that situation, what I probably expect was the reason for this was, again, Hori just being scared shitless of cancellation. Because I mean, you know, third attempt, I'd feel it too. But I wish he'd move on from that. Like, you know, we're 300 chapters in. You're not going to get canceled anymore. Just fucking make her zip up.
I mean, he did also give her a turtleneck at one point.
He did, but
Starting to think he has a specific type in mind.
yeah, but you know what? Turtlenecks, they're so good because they're not like gross in how they like show people, and they fit everyone, like regardless of body and gender and whatever. Like fuck, Endeavor looks great in a turtleneck.
That's true. He does.
Yeah, I saw people, as in I saw videos of people watching the anime of season 5, and people who started barking when they saw Endeavor in the
You
turtleneck.
know who I bet looks great in a turtleneck? Best
Who?
Jeanist.
Yes, but
With his
the turtleneck,
monster neck.
that's not a turtleneck anymore. If he wears it, it's a giraffe neck.
All right, I think I think we're good to move.
We've hit this level already, and we've talked about exactly one series.
One series.
We're getting progressively worse at this.
Yeah, have you noticed that? Instead of getting better, we're getting worse.
Okay.
So the
What's
next
next? What's
one
next?
is Undead Unluck.
Oh, that was an awesome chapter.
It was really good. I really loved this guy.
Yeah, I love Shen. And I like that, this fight is so dynamic and so like well interwoven with his backstory. So that even when at the end you get like these flashes that are, confusing on purpose, it doesn't feel disorienting. It just feels like it's building up to, yes, this is his master, but like weirdly young and whatever. It's really cool. I really want to see more of this next week. Which, that's a really good sentiment for a chapter to leave me on.
Yeah, I love his power too. Untruth is a dope ass power.
Mm-hmm.
Just all of his fight scenes, because they're like, he has a lot of panels where, especially in this chapter, where it's just like they're just standing there and there's punch like impacts around them. But at no point am I like, oh, the choreography sucks, because it's still really good. They're constantly like zipping around and doing all these crazy tricks and stuff. Ah,
Mm-hmm.
man. I really like this guy's fights. I think I recall, I need to go back and read the early ones again, because I think I recall his other fights also being really cool. But those are
Mm-hmm.
so long ago at this point.
Yeah, for me, he evokes like just his like the visual of him has sort of the same charm as Mash from MASHLE, where it's like he's such an uwu like funny pretty boy for most of the time, and then you get to his fights and you realize, holy shit, this man is like a 16 pack. Like he's just enormous,
Yeah,
and
he's
he
like
punches the guys.
6 foot, 250 pounds of pure muscle.
Yeah, and it's so cool because it's such a cool like juxtaposition. And like it isn't played for laughs quite as much as Mash is, obviously, because MASHLE is a straight comedy series, but it still gives you that sort of duality, which is really cool to see, especially with how just fucking visceral his fights end up being, because like the man isn't doing anything flashy, he's just punching, he's just fucking throwing hands, and it's the coolest shit. So yeah, very good chapter. Kind of light in terms of like the overall plot, very focused on Shen and like his time at the dojo and his fight with this reanimation mumbo jumbo thing. But very, very entertaining. Very, very good. So yeah, that'd be my verdict on Undead Unluck.
Yep,
Unless you have like
I'll co-sign that. It's a 16 pack out of 10.
16 pack out of 10.
All right, perfect. See, that was a good one. We got it right.
You
Concise,
see,
clear.
no weird detours.
Yeah, speaking of weird detours, the next one is Witch Watch.
Uh, that was cool. It was fun. Like I'm glad that this seems to indicate that like, oh, she's gonna get attacked more often and there's gonna be like more plot happening.
Yeah, and
Uh,
we're building the party a little bit more on like a permanent basis. We got Tengu boys
mhm,
staying for good,
mhm,
which is fine. I like Moy more than him, but building the party is always good.
mhm.
Um, I like that their method for defeating her was just to punch her like right in the vagina and break the thing. I don't know why that was where he swung, But
yeah, that panel, when I first turned the page, I was like, wait, did I miss something?
I guess it was because when he hardened it, that's like the only part that's not touching her body. So like he can
Oh.
follow through and he won't hit her,
Mm-hmm.
I guess. It was still very weird visually to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, last week we had the boobly eyes, and today we have the crotch shot. So I suppose
The literal
we're
crotch shot.
yeah. So I suppose we're building towards a certain sexual undertone, which I know a certain prime minister who'd appreciate that.
The writer's credits, it just says commissioned by.
God, last episode was like, oh my god, I was giggling about it like an hour later.
I know, me too.
Like I walked out of my office to my girlfriend, who she hears a lot because we're loud and the walls are thin, and she's like, "So who's Shinzo Abe?" And I'm like, "Oh God, how much time do you have?" Because like it's such a
Let me tell you a
specific
wonderful story.
of abstinence and birth rates. Oh my God! I didn't check the comments under this one that much. Did you see anyone who got like upset with us?
No.
Oh, good. Good. I'm glad. I saw one person on Twitter, but they were upset about something else. They were upset that we pretended that that the magazine is only comprised of MHA and Jujutsu Kaisen, and when they're not there, it's boring. But like, that's the truth. Like the magazine is the MHA and Jujutsu Kaisen magazine. Everything else is like, I'm having fun.
Yeah,
Well, I
well,
suppose
my
for
thing
you,
is that
it's
like I got one of those guys too that was like, "Oh, I tried to listen to that show, but if they can't talk about those two things, they just don't do anything." But it's like, man, I don't know. You can't really fill that much airtime with like gag stuff. Like I can't
Mhm.
sit here and be like, "All right, so when Mash took the cream puff out of his coat, what do you think that symbolized for the future? Do you think
Mhm.
in 40 chapters from now, the giant cream puff is going to come back seeking vengeance for all of its eaten brethren?" Like I can't. It was just cool. Like I can't. There's
Yeah,
only so
like,
much I can do with this shit that I've got.
well, I think the biggest difference, what it comes down to, is the difference between macro structure and microstructure. Something like MHA, Jujutsu Kaisen, and things like Doctor Stone and One Piece, which we can't talk about for just reading reasons. Um, like those focus very much on macro structure, on developing a larger story in very like clear and open terms. And so it's much easier there to be like, okay, let's analyze this. What could this mean if we combine this with knowledge we have from 40 weeks ago? Something like MASHLE, in the meantime, is or even Undead Unluck, they're very focused on microstructure, on like developing short intervals of knowledge and context, sometimes just within a chapter. Like a MASHLE chapter is only really as deep as itself for the most part, because it's really just focused on here's a scenario, here's how this scenario is cool, and here's how this scenario is also really funny. And it's rare that you have like overlaps between other chapters. So the substance tends to be much lighter, and that's where we tend to veer off into weird, tangents about the birth rates of Japan. Like that's kind of just the nature of the magazine.
Yeah, and I mean, plus also you look at the of the series that we talk about. We don't talk about One Piece because neither one of us reads it. We don't talk
Yeah.
about Doctor Stone because you don't read it. We don't talk about Black Clover because neither one of us, preferably nobody, reads it. But the world's
Uh-huh.
not perfect. So you take those out of the equation, and then you take out Jujutsu Kaisen and you take out My Hero Academia, and you have nothing over 100 chapters.
Mm-hmm.
So like, of course, there's not as much to talk about. Like, whatever. I thought last episode was pretty good.
I thought last episode might have actually been one of our best.
Freed from the constraints of My Hero Academia and Jujutsu Kaisen, we can properly talk about real societal issues like the declining birth rate in Japan.
Well, as I said last week, I do like when MHA and Jujutsu Kaisen, the intellectual series are here. We have very intellectual discourse about the horrors of capitalism. Meanwhile, once they're gone, we devolve into, so here's how people should fuck more. So, that clearly establishes the hierarchy of intellectualism here with the series. Anyway,
Anyway, Witch Watch.
Witch Watch was
It was actually, I liked the chapter a lot for Witch Watch. I thought it was cute. I like when they do
yeah.
little cute things like after he like vagina bumped her clothes off, he was like, "Oh, here's my shirt." I was like, "Ah, that's cute." When they do stuff like that.
Yeah. I also like the little detail where ogre boy Moy, I don't remember,
Moy.
when he drops back from having defeated the clothes, he falls onto his ass. Meanwhile, the girl like lands perfectly in like a gymnast position.
Oh yeah, she
I
even
thought that
does the
was
little
really
like
sweet.
hup when she lands, and he just smashes into the ground.
Yeah, it's really cool. Um, okay. Anything else on Witch Watch, or do we move on?
No, other than just positive. I'm feeling very positive about Witch Watch lately. That was a good chapter. It says good things for
Mhm.
the future of it, which I like.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, next
What's
up,
next?
the Elusive Samurai.
Mm.
Yeah, it was
Mm.
something. Um,
Yeah,
I
like
I kind of liked it. It just I wish shit happened in it.
yeah, that's my sentiment too. It's very much like I couldn't tell you what's going on really. Like like I know what's happening in the plot, but like in terms of like actual moment to moment action, this is such a weird way to lay it out. Like it feels like I'm just watching someone tell me about a manga that they read more than actually me reading a manga in the moment. It's bizarre. It's hard to even explain. It just it does not feel like I'm immersed, like I'm inside of the story,
Yeah,
and
I could
that makes
very
it
much
hard. Yeah.
feel that I'm an observer to this story. I
Hmm.
don't feel anything when anything
Uh-huh.
happens.
Hmm.
I I didn't even think it was necessarily that bad of a chapter, but I'm just like so disconnected from it.
Hmm. Yeah, like it's just it doesn't do a good job of immersing you into the story. And I think part of that is again, like we keep complaining about, oh, there's too much text in this, bro. I can't take it. Um, uh, words, my enemy. But it really does feel like there's so much text here that is presented in such a like unemotional fashion most of the time. That's just hard to really be invested. Like
Yeah,
it
I feel
feels
like
more like
I'm just trying to tally the exposition every time I read this. I'm like, oh, okay, this is happening. This almost feels like it would do better as an anime or something, where it's like they can inject some tone into it for you.
Mhm.
Cause God,
Yeah.
man, it's very dry.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm even yawning.
That's about to say it's very
That
appropriate for the Elusive
yeah.
Samurai section.
Yeah, yeah, it's annoying as well because of course the author we know the author can do better in this. So why isn't he? You
Yeah,
know.
I mean, Assassination Classroom was fucking incredible, and this is very
Exactly.
much not. I mean, I like the thief guy. I think he's a pretty cool character, and I think the moral quandary he posed at the end was a pretty good way to take it. It's not
Mhm.
just like, oh, we're gonna gather a new party and beat up I guy, because he's like, your entire army betrayed you last time. Can you really trust me or anybody else that you're picking up off the street to come out here and join your little band? I thought that was neat. I'm pretty sure it's just
Mhm.
going to end with some platitude like, yes, I can. And they're going to move on from it.
It's
But
literally like the Chad meme. It's like, can you really still trust everyone who's betrayed you? Yes.
yes, if he drew it that way, it's just this kid in that exact design. This would immediately be a 10 out of 10 series.
It's like the eye guy, like the fucking meme dude who's like crying with the red eyes. He's like, "No, you can't defeat me and take the province away from me and trust your friends." And it's just a little kid like, "Yes, I can."
Yes, I can. Speaking of the eye guy, now that it's confirmed that people can see his gross eyes, he's a lot funnier than he was before.
He is.
Like the one panel where he's looking at that box and his eyes are just completely out of his head.
Yeah, it's really funny, and I'm really surprised at how funny it still is. Because I thought this guy was gonna be like a throwaway character after like a chapter or two, but he's sticking around.
Yeah, I mean, he's supposed, I guess, to be the big bad of at least this arc, because he's got like a mini boss fight coming up with the giant ear man. Apparently, that's the whole
Yeah,
army. It's just giant sense guy.
every every one of his generals is just like defined by a really enlarged body part.
Uh-oh.
I knew that was coming. But oh god. Well, I guess we'll see once we get to Mr. Fat Balls McGee and his sack of wonders. But first we have to deal with Earlobe guy.
Yeah, I gotta fight Giant Ear Boy. So that's something.
Yeah. So Elusive Samurai, I man funny out of 10, I
Yeah,
suppose.
that's fair. Man, very funny out of 10. So I gotta tally up the scores here. I believe we're in the top threes now, and the next
Okay.
one is My Hero Academia.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm gonna get it out of the way right now. I hate that he has another quirk now, but
You talk about the
at this
smoke
point,
one?
yeah, the smoke screen.
Where is that smoke
At,
coming from?
out of his
All
skin, I
all I
think.
can think of is that the whole time he's just ripping ass while he's fighting Muscular, and they just don't put it. So Muscular's chasing him, and the whole time, and Deku's just like dropping smoke screens, and Muscular's like, "What the fuck am I? What is happening? Where's the
Like
smoke coming from? His
he's
skin's
like,
all covered up."
he's like, don't worry, yo, I'll protect you. I'm on my way.
Let me lay down my smoke screen. Everyone's like, "What the fuck?" This is why Deku left. Nobody wants to be around that fucking power.
Ladies and gentlemen, thoughtful manga criticism. Fart noises. But yeah, so I'm gonna put it right out there. I really fucking hate that he has another quirk, but at this point, I'm just gonna consider the 6 quirks plot element a lost cause. Because Hori clearly just wants to do something with it that I don't like, which is just kind of give him the powers and then show us how cool they are, as opposed to like, making him getting the powers a big deal. And I really don't like that. Like he went into the war with 1 quirk unlocked, and he now has 4. Like I don't like that. I think that isn't paced very well. I'm gonna just put this out here right now because that's the one thing that annoys me this chapter. Because everything else I actually really liked.
Yeah,
Like,
I like the idea of the one guy being like, "You got to stop like glorifying our quirks as like, oh, the previous holders' holy quirks." He's like, "Dude, they're just use them. They're
mhm,
stop trying to make them like big deals and finishing moves. Use them as like a toolkit in your arsenal, because inevitably
mhm,
they're not going to be more powerful than the base power you've always had. They're just
mhm.
like little things. So it's, stop being a fanboy and actually start using them." I thought that was a neat little bit of a. I also like how I was vaguely keeping up with the leaks, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, he's got a jetpack now."
Oh
just
yeah, yeah,
just a visual reference,
yeah. Because like, why would he even need a jetpack?
right? He can like jump across cities. He doesn't need a jetpack.
Yeah, yeah, and I like the communication has with the users. Like I like that in the middle of the fight, like N is I think his name is. He just kind of leans in as a ghost. He's like, "Hey, buddy, you kind of gotta stop doing the farting thing. It's gross and it also tires you out."
You
So
have
yeah,
a
I like that.
finite amount of fart. You're running
Look,
out.
man, look, this is why you have to keep a belt full of beans around you,
Are you
just to make
lactose
sure.
intolerant? This is very important for my power.
But yeah, I do really like that, and I will say, as much as I don't like that he has another quirk now, smokescreen essentially being an excuse for Hori to continuously draw Deku like shrouded in smoke is so raw. Like
This
that
is
is so cool.
they finally turned the wackest outfit in anime history into something really badass. I actually think he
Yeah,
looks lamer with it off now. When it comes off at the end, I'm like, no, no,
yeah,
put your
right.
hood
He
back
looks
on.
so cool now. But luckily, it didn't get torn, so we might get more of that. Like
That
it looks
panel,
so
which
cool.
which page is it on? So where he slams Muscular into the ground with Black Whip, and then it's
Hmm.
just like a panel of only him in the mask, like looking up, like hunched down
Hmm.
but looking upward with like I guess that's water everywhere around him. God, that shit looks so cool.
Yeah, that's so cool. Like the decision of having it be torn and the decision to have his eye be like All Might's. I think that makes it so cool. Like also like there's the one right at the start. where he's looking at Muscular and not responding, and you have like the lightning coming out of his mask and like the smoke coming off of his cape. Like that is so cool. This is easily the coolest Deku has ever
Oh,
looked.
by far. Like, it's not even close. I get, like, Visored Mask Ichigo vibes out of this outfit now.
Bleach fan reading his second ever series.
Hey,
Man,
well,
I'm
hey,
getting
hey, hey.
made.
In my defense, he's got a creepy smile, and he's got the black eyes. The smile doesn't look like it's supposed to be like the All Might smile, but like it doesn't look like that when he's got glary, creepy black eyes.
That's true. And to be honest, I don't even see it as a smile anymore. I see it almost more like a beak or something like that, which honestly just makes it look so much cooler. Like
Yeah, it's way better than it
yeah,
ever has been.
yeah, and the cape also just makes it look nice. And honestly, like again, as much as I'm not a fan of how the six quirks have been spaced out, the visual of him using them, like using the black whip essentially as Spider-Man webs, the smoke surrounding him to block vision, and like the danger sense coming in so he can dodge perfectly, that is so cool. Like that is such a cool arsenal of powers.
It's a shame that float is Nana's power because it's the wackest one.
Yeah,
Could
but
jump a
I
little
do
higher.
yeah, but I do still like it. Like I like, and this is something I did say like all the way back when the six quirks reveal first happened. I wanted and I like that it is the case that the quirks he's getting are mostly utility. They're not like super strong abilities. They're literally just, hey, I can do this new thing now that allows me to set up my big finishing moves better. I think that's cool.
And it
Because if it would
fits
have been
just for
like
like the
something,
type of fighter that Deku is too. Like
yeah,
it's good for his skill set to show off a little bit.
yeah, like I really think it just makes for better fights, and like this fight especially. I don't know if you noticed or if you like took notice of it, but the choreography flowed so much better this fight than
Yeah, choreography is
usual.
traditionally, at least in my opinion, not Horikoshi's strong suit.
Yes,
Um, it
yes, I
was really
agree.
good in this one. Like a lot of the times when I read My Hero fights, especially big ones like large scale ones like this where they're ripping apart cities and shit, um, it's just a mess. Like it was
Hmm.
pretty good in the gentle fight because that was such like a small scale thing that he could spend more time focusing on it. He's not just drawing like collateral damage everywhere. Like the
Hmm.
overall fight was brutal for me at least to read and
Hmm.
keep up with. This one was
Hmm.
really good. Like nothing felt out of place. Nothing was weird. They weren't doing that weird Horikoshi thing where like they teleport because there's no movement panels. They're just like in the next place punching again. Um,
Hmm.
I really liked it. I really liked the last like big spread too.
Hmm.
It's good. It's good shit.
Yeah, I do like it. Like as whack as the power progression of Deku is, because at the end he's like, "Oh, this is my full power." It's like, "Oh no, can you now just use your arms again?" That's that's lame.
I
But
I I don't think so. I think it's that he ripped through the armor so he didn't have to.
maybe
Because I mean, it shows him like, oh yeah, when the muscles are depleted, they snap and break away, and you generate new ones. And then it shows when he's punching him that he's hitting like a really thin spot with like no armor on it.
that's true. That's true. Yeah,
So
because
I
he's
I
also
don't
like,
think he can just suddenly punch like All Might. I hope not. But then again, he does have like all these powers out of nowhere. And then I remember when you said it's been a month, and then people in the comments were like, no, it's been like 3 days. And I'm like, damn, he got all this in like 3 days.
yeah, no, no, I don't believe it's just been 3 days. I think it's
He
been at
woke up
least
out of the hospital and
a
was like,
week
oh,
or two. Yeah,
sweet, I got all of them now.
yeah, like it doesn't make sense for it just to be a few days because he also his like personality seems so different now. He seems so much more like quiet and somber comparatively. Like in this fight, he like doesn't engage with anything that Muscular says until the end, where he's like, "Hey, man, do you really need to do this?" And Muscular's like, "Yeah, dude." And he's like, "All right, punch." Like Deku's personality, weirdly enough, doesn't really come through in his speech this chapter, which is interesting because it that absence of personality in itself implies a shift in personality, or at least a shift in like outward personality, I guess. Because he's like he has only one speech bubble, like right at the end, where he's like, "I guess someone's been holding those vibrations." You know, referring to Shindo, which is like slightly Deku-ish, like referential to like, oh, the others are so amazing and cool. The rest is very like, right, just gonna punch you. Okay, bye.
Yeah,
Which yeah,
he
it's not
kind of
very
seems like
Deku.
he's done like giving not like giving a shit, but the way that they and maybe it's to address the people who are like, oh my god, he wants to redeem Shigaraki, but I think it's just like his viewpoint matured a lot in the Gentle fight because before he was like superhero good, villain bad, yeah. And then he was
Mhm.
like, "Oh, you can do bad things for kind of good reasons, actually, and be a nice guy. Or even if it's not for a good reason, that doesn't necessarily make you a bad person. That's good." And
Mhm.
then he kind of went the other way, and he's like, I gotta find out if Shigaraki will play chalk with me on the sidewalk or whatever the fuck, because we're both babies." And then
Mhm.
now it's like, okay, I will afford you like a minute to explain yourself, and if you don't do it, I'm just gonna punch you.
Yeah, yeah,
If you've got nothing for me, I've got nothing for you, and I like that.
yeah. I think that that's actually pretty cool because it's like he puts in the effort. He wants to understand them, but he also seems to have the maturity to like to realize that you just can't convince everyone. Some people are beyond convincing. Um, and it's also interesting because I'm rereading the chapter right now, and Hori really loves playing with speech bubbles. Like for example, Ida's speech bubbles are always square, always 100% of the time. Shigaraki's speech bubbles reflect his mental state. They're shaky when he's unsure, and they're smooth when he's sure. And in this chapter, Deku always has like really angular speech bubbles until the very end, where he decides to punch to finish off Muscular. And I wonder why that is. I wonder what that might mean. Can't construct anything right now because I just don't. I really can't imagine what it could be. But it's interesting to see this because with Hori, you really do know that most of the time it is intentional. Like also how Kirishima's speech bubbles are also always angled because he's rock solid and shit. So yeah, I'm digging Deku's development actually, which aside from the power stuff.
We did it. He's finally cool.
Yeah, we did it, guys. Deku is
308
finally
chapters. He's
he's
finally
finally
cool.
raw swag. Well, I've always liked Deku. It's just you fucking normies that.
Doesn't make him cool, just means you like him.
What the fuck do you mean? If I like something, it's automatically cool. Look, man, if I like something, it's objectively good. Like, don't even ask me. Also, another thing I liked in this chapter, Muscular. Like, Muscular to me has always been like the example of like a throwaway villain. But in this chapter, he's actually really fun.
Yeah,
Like,
he
he
like jams
fucking
that rock in his eye socket. I'm like, what are you doing, bro?
yeah, because he's trying to the way I interpreted it, he's trying to relive the fight he had with Deku, and in that fight he had his fake eye in the socket. So to me it's like, ah yes, kiddo, let's go. That's so cool. Like I love that. And I love how he's like, look, man, don't even try with that ideology bullshit. I really just want to kill people. Which like it's cool. It's cool in the sense of it's a classic baddie, but also it's cool because it really contrasts Deku's last like personality shift that we got with him wanting to save Shigaraki, because now he has to face off against a villain he A knows is incredibly dangerous, and B now finds out really has no motive besides just I really like using my quirk, and because my quirk's usage requires me to hurt people, that's what I do. Like I think that's cool. It's very simple but effective in my opinion.
Yeah, I like it. I thought it was a good. Muscular was a good villain anyway, because it was one of the ones where like he struggled a lot. Now you get to see that he doesn't struggle at all. He just kind of whooped his ass, which is exactly what I wanted. Gave him just an absolute ass beating, which was ideal. That if he struggled at all, I was gonna be like, but no,
Yeah.
he put him on his ass. It was a good fight. It was a good like it was a good fight from a choreography, physical standpoint, and a good fight from like Deku's emotional development standpoint. Which I'm
Yeah.
kind of glad they went this way. It grounds him a little bit more because I really didn't want this to be a new thing of him like gotta redeem all of them. I have to
Mhm.
find out these why, and I have to make them good again. I'm glad that he's not like trying to get Muscular to come around. As soon as Muscular didn't bite, he was like, all right, I gotta just fucking take you out. Simple as
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and I also another thing I also like in this about this fight is that I think it's Deku's first like no holds barred, just rawness and swagness fight. Because all the others, there's always some caveat. There's always something that keeps him from really like impressing everyone unequivocally. Like, even when he does something like the overhaul fight, it's always like, oh, he got lucky that Eri had this really powerful quirk stored up. Um, like the only fight I can think of aside from this one where it's really just Deku being an absolute force of nature is the Gentle fight, and that one is a small scale, and Gentle really is not a very like impressive villain in terms of power. So for Deku to like one shot a guy who is, literally just muscle and literally just meathead destruction, I think that's really cool. I think that is something that Deku kind of needed. Again, to kind of elevate him into rawness and swagness territory properly, so that you normal people can like him too, I guess.
People with less sophisticated minds can
Uh
appreciate him.
you see, whenever I say shit like that, I feel like the fucking guy from the meme was like, do I want a sample of your potato chip? Not necessary. I have already calculated the flavor with my 3000 IQ. It needs a little more salt. Like that is how I feel when I talk shit about how I have always liked Deku, but I genuinely have always thought that Deku was an interesting character. Lately, I was a bit iffy on him because I feel like he just does not get challenged enough in his ideology. Like Gentle was a big shock to him, kind of, but then that didn't really lead anywhere because Deku got sidelined for almost 100 chapters. So I was a bit on the fence with that, but I'm back in. Like, I think if we can continue down this path where Deku has to like kind of walk the tightrope of saving people and redeeming them, and accepting that certain people are just beyond saving, I think that that's a cool and mature way to handle that. So yeah, Deku stocks are high. Invest now, my friend.
Invest in Deku.
Yeah,
Stocks are rising.
yeah.
Move your cash out of Naoya Zenin and put it in Deku.
Well, now your stocks are disastrous right
Now your
now.
stocks, the market is just destroyed.
One last thing I want to say about this chapter, I really like that Shindo's vibe check actually like was useful. That it's like, your muscle fibers were really torn up by the vibrations, and that's what allows Deku to win. I think that that's really cool. Like it shows that even when a character like Shindo is just fodder, he still contributes, and I think that that's really nice to have like this consistency that all these people are competent and they have powers that are useful. Sometimes the focus is just on other characters. So yeah, I like this chapter. I had a lot of fun with it, aside from the caveats I've already mentioned. So yeah, rawness and swag Deku out of 10 for me.
All right, I can co-sign that. Raw Deku out of 10.
I cannot believe I'm hearing the Zenrotto co-sign raw Deku out of all
It
things.
finally happened because they made him more like Ichigo. That's all I needed. He has
Getting
one visual similarity to Ichigo, therefore he is better.
man, getting major Bleach vibes from this
Major
one.
Bleach vibes out of this. It reminds me of Persona 5 when he gets the little mask.
Next chapter, Deku unlocks another quirk, and it's like, yes, you see, it's this sword, but it also has an old man inside of it that you have to convince, and you have to learn his name, and it'll be stronger that way. And it's called a oh shit, copyright. It's called a Gambaguto instead of a Zanpakuto. And
Its
Deku's
ultimate
like, oh
technique,
neat,
Kaiban.
Kaiba. Deku's like neat, and unlocks everything at in like 2 chapters.
He just finds out about it, and then the next chapter, it's like, oh, I can do everything perfectly. Great.
Yeah. Like the second user that looks like Bakugo just turns around, looks at Deku, and he's like, "Kid, it's about time you learned what a Quincy is." He finds his dad, and he has the Soul Reaper uniform.
I don't know. The second user does have Ichigo's hairstyle. It might just be him.
Yeah,
It's
and
just
according to Horikoshi's shading palette, which someone actually did put together, it seems that the second user that looks like Baku actually does have orange hair.
there it is.
As
It's
opposed to blonde.
just Ichigo.
It's just...
And the only quirk that he got from Ichigo was the ability to be raw. That's all he got. The second quirk, rawness.
That's why Deku is so somber now. He found out about all the Nazi references in Bleach. He's like, dude, there's this fucking spiritual Third Reich. I can't do this. And Ichigo's like, no, you have to go fight the Quincy's. Don't you want to defeat the Schutzstaffel? Oh god, I still can't believe Kubo did that.
Yeah, Kubo's the man knows what he wants.
I am really interested. I'd be really interested actually to find out if Bleach got censored at all in Germany. Because Nazi imagery and slang in media in Germany is a big no-no. Like a massive no-no.
Then I would imagine it would have had to have been, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because like they've eased up over the years. They've kind of been like, okay, you know, they can happen. Just make sure there's context. But at the time when Bleach was being translated into German, which must have been like early 2000s, they were still very much nope, 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 nope. No Nazi in fiction, only in history books, and only to tell you that they were terrible, which they were. You know, Germany tried very, very hard to make sure that everyone understood why that was a bad thing. And then, you know, the extreme right-wing party in Germany came up, and they're very much trying to be like, you know, they did have points, didn't they?
Oh, God. So, like here in America.
Yeah. I mean, in America, it's even more baffling because y'all had nothing to do with Germany, except that you beat them or like contributed in beating them. So,
well,
like,
you know, we do like to beat people and then claim that all of their stuff is actually ours. So
you do like copying Europe.
That's also true.
Yeah, I mean, you know, first you copied our imperialism, and now you're copying Germany's age-old Nazism. What's next? Are you gonna copy are you gonna copy us actually taking COVID seriously?
No.
That'd be kind of nice.
No. We're not gonna copy that or the healthcare. We're gonna copy something stupid like Brexit. It's gonna be like Texit. Texas is gonna be like, we want out. It's Texit.
Texas just fucks off. But because, you know, everything that gets copied from Europe into America kind of gets distorted a little bit, just because, you know, different people. So Texit isn't just like a legislative exit from a union. Texas like saws the ground off at the border, like swims into the Pacific. Yeah. Just swims into the Pacific. Wait. Hold on. Texas doesn't have a coast at the Pacific, does it?
No. It's the Gulf of Mexico, I believe.
Fuck. Where's
then again,
Texas?
I don't know because I don't know anything about Texas.
Texas. I just know that's where all English dubs are produced. That's all I know about Texas.
Yes, that's true.
Oh yeah, it is on the. I thought Texas one was on the completely wrong side. I just know the shape because of SpongeBob.
No, Texas is right. It's right smack in the middle ass of the United States.
Oh yeah, it is the United States' second penis, isn't it?
Yes.
Florida being the first.
Its fourth leg, as it were.
Mm-hmm. Damn. Your guys' borders look so fucked up, man.
Yeah, they're not great. A lot of stuff is not great.
They're just lines. It's like with a ruler. Damn.
I like how some of them are like kind of square, and then the further east you get, they're like, it's just a fucking nightmare. Idaho is like, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, but also like honestly, the east makes more sense to me than the west because the east looks like, okay, borders are drawn according to like geographical things or whatever, because that's how you get those jagged lines. That's how borders are like here in Europe as well. But the ones that are just perfect squares, those freak me out. Like, who determined those squares? Do you just have like square mountain ranges?
That is right in the middle of the Rocky Mountains, so I don't know. Maybe.
Are the Rocky Mountains a perfect square? Find out
I don't
next
know.
time on Geography and Chill.
Geo and chill.
Okay. I'm feeling that we might want to move on to our next big hitter.
Yes. Let's hit Jujutsu Kaisen. Chapter was good. I like all the thumb man exposition. I like that we were right that it wasn't Noritoshi Kamo, so shut up,
Mhm.
commenters, saying that we're
Yeah,
overthinking it.
it's a guy called Kenjaku, which you'll be interested to know is a historical figure.
I did not
Who
know
is
that.
Yeah, Kenjaku is his Buddhist name, but his real name is Shinichi no Fujiwara, which is interesting because he is his clan, the Fujiwara clan, is was the mortal rival of the Michizane clan, which is the clan Gojo is descendant from, and Yuta.
That makes sense because they have
Yeah,
a whole history thing about him getting tossed by Six Eyes users too many times.
yeah. I will say though, this chapter felt like fucking like reading scripture. Like I felt like I was learning like a whole history class worth of stuff, and
Yeah,
like
there was a
it was
lot.
interesting.
I'm a
Yeah.
little worried about this arrangement they have with Tengen now. Not that I don't trust Tengen, but just like you guys are really gonna get Choso killed, aren't you? Like I
Yeah,
I'm getting a lot of bad vibes for Choso from this chapter.
yeah, but still, I think once I wrapped my head around what was even happening, this is such a cool like setup. Like Kenjaku wanting to basically fuse humanity with Tengen, making them this weird collective consciousness, not human, not cursed spirit, in order to force the true evolution of Jujutsu sorcery. That is so cool. That is like that's like a final goal worthy of a big bad.
I also like how many pieces, because a lot of people's complaints or reasoning as to why it had to be Noritoshi Kamo and it couldn't be like anyone else was, oh, if he's been around for so long, why hasn't he done it yet then? Like, why do you have to wait till now? Why
Uh-huh.
seal Gojo and not just do your plan before he was born? Well, you find out right now is because he needed like an insane amount of exactly specific pieces to do it all that
Yeah,
just so
exactly.
happened to be here right now.
Yeah. And that's just so cool to me as well. Like that he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to give up defeating Six Eyes users. I'm just going to fucking seal them." Because it's also interesting that Tengen just offhandedly mentions that there can only ever be one Six Eyes user born at one time, which like, hello, why? Like is there something
Yeah,
deeper here?
there must be because I just assumed it was like a really rare genetic trait, which it is.
Mhm.
But apparently, it walls off another one from being born. So that's why he
Yeah.
sealed Gojo instead of trying to kill him, was because that way there won't be another one
Mhm.
unless Gojo is freed or dies, which we know
Mhm.
won't happen. So also,
Yeah.
they just mention it in one bubble here, but that apparently Kenjaku was behind Toji attacking them in the past.
Yeah, which I definitely want to know more about because they
Yes,
just say
I need
it
to know
so
what
casually.
how he was involved with that.
Yeah, because they just say it so casually. But like, I don't really, I really want to know. But also, one thing that really struck me this chapter was the way it builds onto itself while Tengen is talking is so interesting because it's basically like you start out with him because he says Kenjaku right at the start, and we're like, okay, who the fuck is that? Whatever. And then he starts building. He's like, okay, he wants to fuse humanity with me because I'm this transcendent being because I didn't manage to fuse with a star plasma vessel, and I could fuse with all of humanity, and that would be really bad because we would basically turn into one giant mass of evil. And then they're like, okay, but that's not super likely. And he's like, but you see, I have turned into kind of a cursed spirit because of my transcendence, which means I'm a target for cursed spirit manipulation. and then just the panel, like the page afterwards of everyone realizing what that means. That is so good to me. Like that actually like gave me goosebumps when I read it. I was like, oh shit. Like,
Yeah,
oh shit, they're in it now.
yeah, and you're right because it's literally as it goes, it just keeps getting worse. Because then he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, Kenjaku's also the best barrier person in the whole world other than me, so he'll get in here eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh my god. I also like Magumi's plan is we really got to get Gojo out of the box because if we do, everything's fine again.
Yeah. I also like when he starts explaining how to open the prison realm. They're all like, okay, so we just need to find this object. Nope, sorry, Gojo destroyed it.
Gojo broke
Oh, we
that,
gotta.
and they're like, oh, what about this one? I'm like, no, Gojo broke that. Like both Yuji and Megumi are like, why? Why did he do that?
It's so funny. Yeah. Also, another thing. Now we get like this new curse user, Hana Kurusu, who's like a revived curse user. Who I've had it explained to me that apparently that revival is also like a binding vow, part of the culling game. And it's interesting because her or his, I'm not sure really, looks like a girl, but their name, Hana Kurusu, is very similar to the Kurusu Hana, which is a term in Japanese Christianity, or in Christianity's Japanese branch, which is associated with a corrupted crucifix.
Well, she's clearly angelic. I mean, she's got the halo, the wings, and a horn.
Yeah. But still, Hana Kurusu is the corrupted, or Kurusu Hana is the corrupted crucifix. So I'm wondering what that'll play into. So basically, I have to convince her to break a curse technique on the prison realm. Is that what I'm hearing here? Because that's the part where
That's
I'm a bit
that's
confused.
what they have to do right now is try to get her to break it. I guess we don't know how her techniques works, but also it really feels like they're setting this up to be an opponent that only Yuji can fight.
Mm-hmm.
Because Megami is not going to be that helpful. Yuta is not going to be helpful at all if he can't use any of his cursed energy.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I almost wonder if they're going to have to like trick her into like
Yeah.
use your technique on me. I'm so big and strong. Oh, here's the prison realm backside. Got him.
Yeah, could
I
be.
don't know because she certainly is giving me a creepy vibe. Like she doesn't look like a character who,
We'll
oh,
just help them.
she's gonna be good. She's gonna be nice.
Yeah. That, and also like I'm thinking she's in deep in this because the rules of the calling game is that if you do anything against the game master, you will be subject to curse technique removal. And one of the big questions when that first dropped was, well, how is Geto gonna, or Kenjaku in this case, gonna remove someone's curse technique? And I'm assuming this angel person is the key to that. Which makes me believe that trying to convince them to just help our guys is not going to be super easy. But yeah, like the culling game is setting itself up to be a crazy arc. Like just insane.
Well, also, Kenjaku is not the game master. Do we know who it is?
Nope, we don't know who it is. It's really, really mysterious. Like they completely gloss over it. And also it's like they're like, oh yeah, we have to use 100 points to like change the rules. So that means they have to kill, what is it, 10 other users?
Yes, I believe so.
I think so, yeah. So yeah, very, very interesting. This arc is just going to be insane. I also really like one thing I'm liking is how the Star Plasma Vessel arc continues to be like the crux to everything. Like that's where everything went wrong. When Toji Zenin or Toji Fushiguro started interfering with things. Which I'm wondering, again, I'm wondering how much of that was Kenjaku. Because I don't think anyone in the flashback had stitches, right?
Not that I no, I someone would have noticed by now if they did. I never saw one with stitches on
Mhm.
them. I mean, I need to know what he did. Also, he mentions the star plasma vessel again, um, later. Like,
Mhm.
we're all connected by fate and everything, and then he brought it in and destroyed that connection. I wonder if at some point we're gonna get another vessel that's gonna be born.
Yeah, yeah. I
Because they
mean,
just said
I
up to
don't.
now, there hasn't been one after Rico. But
Mhm.
I don't know. The way that he keeps talking about it in the present tense kind of makes me feel like we might at some point that's going to come up, and they're going to have
Mhm.
to find a way to use her to put the thumb man back in a person body.
Mhm. Yeah, although now we also know that the thumb isn't really Tengen. It's just like it's a physical manifestation of the abstract consciousness that is Tengen, which, is a very fancy way of saying it's a me, Tengen,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I also like how he's like, yeah, this is what you would look like after that if you lived this long too, and everyone's like, I don't think so. It doesn't seem
Yeah.
like quite right. You're just like a creepy monster man.
Yeah. Yeah, like Akutami in general is really good at just convincing you that they're making sense when a lot of the shit they're saying is very like a very sort of whatever. Like again, when Tengen is like, ah, yes, yeah, I'm not actually Tengen. I'm just a vestige, and the real Tengen is the world. I'm like, okay, Gege, sure.
Yeah.
It's the same when Gege was bringing up like abstract math during Gojo's flashback, and it's just like, okay, this man is just talking.
Yeah, sometimes he has a tendency to like the explanation for how Gojo's powers work in the Star Plasma Vessel arc is the most nonsensical shit. You can my powers can do things like make -1 apples. Like what the fuck am I supposed to get out of that information?
Yeah, that, and also the way he explains Naobito's technique. I'm still not completely certain on how that shit works. Like, it's okay. It divides a second into 24 frames. It's like, okay, my dude, hold up. He does what to a what with what?
Yeah.
Like,
And
what
then
does that
Naoya does it
mean?
later and he like touches Choso and Choso turns into a frame and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, Naobito did that too. But again, it's like, oh yeah, if he touches you, you're stuck, and you can only like move at 20 frames per second. Otherwise, you get frozen for a full second. It's like, Gigi, look, I get it. You got a new PC and are playing games at higher frame rates, but like, what the fuck is this about? Like,
Got a new graphics card and he's like, damn, Final
Naobito's
Fantasy
gonna have
VII Remake at 60 FPS slaps.
Naobito's gonna have another son. He's just gonna come up to you and be like, "Man, those RTX 3070 series sure are slapping, aren't they?" And you just like, what's a 3070? Uh, am I talking to a void? Do you know what a 3070 is?
I am vaguely aware of it.
It's like the new hot graphics card shit that everyone wants and no one has gotten a hold of because scalpers and Bitcoin miners. So
So it's the PS5 of graphics cards.
yeah, yeah. Well, the 3070 is because there's a whole series of like 3070, 3080, 3090. And the 3070 is the most sought after because it's the one that's like the most reasonable for price and performance.
Oh, I have one of those.
You have a 3070?
Yeah, just
Where?
in a box in my closet.
Why?
I don't know. I think my fiance had it, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I have this thing." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Why is it not in your PC, Mr. Zenrotto?
Because my PC is a fucking Lenovo laptop from like 3 years ago.
Okay, and
Wait, you
fucking
want me to
month?
take apart this old ass fucking piece of shit computer that can't render a moving background at a frame rate YouTube can handle?
Yes.
Just
I
the
want
elusive samurai face, yes.
I want you to fucking glue that shit onto your laptop, because having a 3070 without using it, that sounds. Oh, bro, that's how. Oh, I'm heated. I mean, I don't have to be heated. I have a 3070 in my PC right now, but still, you know,
Well,
like
it's in
it's
my
been tough
closet.
getting one. Okay, well, dear PC people, Zenrotto's closet is the first place to look if you need a 3070. Oh, but okay, so is your this has nothing to do with manga, but so is your girlfriend like into PC building, or why does she have a 3070?
She wanted to, and then she was like, "I'm never gonna do this, am I?" And so now we just have it.
Oh my god, that's even worse.
Yeah. She was like, I want to build one day. And they were like, oh, okay. And then now it's just not happening.
Oh, that's a shame, because building a PC is actually really fun. I hated every second of it, but it was great.
Yeah, I've heard that it's really fun to look back on it after you're done.
Yeah, like it's really fun, like slapping my PC and saying, "Ah, yes, me and a friend literally bled over this." But trust me, it was not fun while we were actually bleeding.
Yeah, I would imagine not.
Yeah, because bleeding while building something, while also being worried, like, "Oh my God, is the iron in my blood gonna conduct something here?" That was not fun.
Gonna short out my computer.
Yeah, but no, like I would definitely recommend looking into building PCs. Like, if you right now, the hardest thing about building PCs is finding the graphics card. But if you have a fucking 3070 lying around, just build it. Like, it's
You're
not
asking a
that
lot of me, man. I don't know how to do this shit.
Hey, at the end of the day, it's kind of like Legos. Like, it's not like it was 10 years ago where you look at a piece funny and it just breaks and you lose $3,000. Like, now you can actually reasonably build a PC without too much trouble. Like, I managed, and I'm the greatest fucking klutz when it comes to technology. Like, I don't know how to set up Discord servers. That's how much of a fucking idiot I am, and I managed to do a PC. So I believe in you, man. And I believe in your fiance, even though I've never talked to her, never met her. But I believe in you guys. You can do it. Just for the love of God, use that 3070. It breaks my heart to think that it's all alone there in the closet doing nothing.
It's all alone, sad.
Its ray tracing cores just going cold.
Well, we gotta leave it in there until it becomes Batman Deku off on its lonesome. Then we'll use it.
Oh. Anyway, to get back to cartoons, before I have an actual meltdown over you hoarding one of the most sought after pieces of technology right now. Do we have anything else on JJK?
Not really. I wonder how are they actually gonna start murking dudes in this thing? Because, Yuji wasn't too big on executing the shit out of humans a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yuta might just be like, we just gotta do it. We just gotta start killing people. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, yeah. One more thing I wanted to mention that just popped back into my mind. If we get that Yuki and Choso team up for like a fight where they have to defend Tengen, that'll be the most random ass shit ever, but it's also cool, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah, that's where they're gonna kill my man Choso, dude.
He's had a good run.
He's gonna try to fight Kenjaku and he's gonna get blasted, bro.
I wonder if Kenjaku, because Kenjaku has cursed spirit manipulation, and Tengen apparently is a target for that because he is like sort of a cursed spirit. I wonder how that affects Choso, because I mean, he is half cursed spirit.
Yeah,
So
I don't know, because I assume that if he could have done that, he would have just done it in Shibuya when Choso was attacking him. He'd just be like, "Get the fuck away from me, idiot."
mhm.
But I don't know. I just don't want them to execute my boy, and I'm pretty sure that's the route we're going down.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll just have to see.
Okay, stop. We don't even know if Nobara is a corpse or not yet. You haven't shown me the body yet, and now you're death flagging Choso.
Choso is also gonna get like really hurt, and then he's just not gonna mention him ever
And they're
again.
just never gonna show up again.
Except like in the final panel of the manga, they're just there at the like goodbye party. Like that's it.
The final panel, they're gonna get Gojo out, and everyone's gonna be happy, and they're gonna be like eating, and they're not even gonna like come up. They're just gonna be in the background. It's just gonna be like Eye Patch, Novara, and one-armed Shoso are just gonna be there.
Also, one thing someone pointed out to me that I think is pretty cool: the front of the prison realm has 6 eyes. Meanwhile, the back has stitches like Kenjaku,
Mm-hmm.
which like I don't think it means anything, but I think it's still pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just a neat little thing. I also like the nod to Jujutsu Kaisen Zero in this one. I like anytime Jujutsu Kaisen Zero gets attention.
Mhm.
So read that if you haven't, because at this point you need to know what's going on. Because Gojo
Yeah.
literally destroys that rope in the prequel chapter.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, like I'm really excited to where this next arc is going. I think this could. How crazy is it that Shibuya just ended, and I'm already thinking like, man, this could be better than Shibuya.
Yeah, Shibuya was. Oh my god, it was so good. But this arc, like the amount of time he's taking to set everything up perfectly as best he can, so that like it's gonna go crazy. You know, it's gonna go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I also like how Yuta is like aware that Megami is a little sad boy and he won't speak up. So Yuta is always the one like, we have to do this to save Megami's sister
Uh-huh. Yeah,
because
yeah.
because Megami's a little sad boy and he won't be like, we gotta help my sister, guys. So Yuta's like, I got it. I used to be a sad boy too.
Yeah, I still want to know what Yuta did in Africa aside from look for the rope because he does seem very changed comparatively.
Well, it's been a year. I mean, he might have just getting to have friends might have mellowed him out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, now comes the question: why was Miguel helping him? Because Miguel was one of Ghetto's boys. I guess
Yeah,
he.
well, aren't some of Ghetto's old boys with Yuki as well?
I thought so. Like,
I think I don't remember his name because I don't think he's even
oh,
been on panel yet, but she name dropped someone.
oh, you mean LaRue?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's weird. Like, I wonder if they banded together once they realized that Ghetto had been taken over. But that's weird considering Gojo didn't know that Ghetto had been taken over.
Yeah, I don't think that's it either because I thought they mentioned why. Like, I thought Miguel Gojo, like, asked him, hey, you can work for me and be fine, or you can go to Juju prison. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like they mentioned it somewhere, and I don't remember it exactly, but I'm pretty sure Gojo just gives him a deal
Mm-hmm.
and says, like, I will protect you from consequences because I'm that guy. I can do that. Or you can just go to jail. And he was like, all right,
Bet.
I'll hang out with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
That I might be
Uh,
completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what happens at some point in the past.
okay. I don't
It's
know.
hard to remember back pre horrible heart wounds because I try to think back beyond that and I'm like I can't. I just stop at the panel of Nova getting her head blown up. that's where I
I
that's
mean,
where all my memory stops moving.
I will say, pre Shibuya Jujutsu Kaisen and Shibuya and post Shibuya Jujutsu Kaisen almost feel like different shows
Yes,
in a
they
way.
do.
Like the tone is very different and very like Jujutsu Kaisen has always been kind of dark, but like after Shibuya, it just feels so hopeless and like sinister. And even Shibuya already felt like that, which that's just cool to see how a series evolves like that. I wonder where does it lead us eventually. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say on Jujutsu Kaisen.
I agree. I believe that we are good. Jujutsu Kaisen is Kenjaku out of 10.
And we fucking knew it. We knew that Nakamo was not the brain out
Fucking
of
told
10.
you guys, and you don't listen. Haven't you learned that we're always correct about every single thing we've ever said?
This is the forefront of cartoon discussions. Be part of the
The
phenomenon.
bleeding edge of cartoon discussion on YouTube.
Be part of the revolution. Uh, all right. In that
I
case,
uh,
is that it?
I believe that is it for us this week, my friend. Thank you everybody for tuning in, watching us ramble a little bit here and there, and also talk about peak fiction as we are wont to do.
Mm-hmm.
And sorry if you liked Build King, because it's gone now. And I hope
I
you
mean,
like romance sports, because it's coming in. I think that we're getting another new series soon that's romance too, right?
yeah, 2 rom-coms.
Yep. So we'll see
Uh,
how those go.
I mean, honestly, if you liked Bill King, just I'm sorry, like in general.
Just beyond that it's canceled, but also just because that's what you like.
Yeah, like you poor thing. Like, oh my God. Bill King, I tried rereading a couple chapters today, like in honor of it getting killed. But man,
Yeah, I didn't even
man, that
bother. I
shit
was like, oh, Build
stunk.
King. I just checked it because I remembered the Build King might be ending, so I just checked to see if it said the end or not, and I was like, oh, it does. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye, Build King.
Bye. Yeah. So yeah. Another week in the bag.
Another one in the books. Again, I don't know how to end video. It's been the ending spiel got cut off, so now I'm just rambling. Bye, everybody.
Bye.